Straight facts, no chaser. So Donald Trump was at a black church, but majority of the people who were in that audience were white. But let's just get past that facade real quick and focus on the question this black pastor posed to Donald Trump about the black community.
Community is disenfranchised, we're marginalized, we're pushed aside. And there are two things that are happening with crime and employment. You're an entrepreneur. How do you see funding entrepreneurs, specifically keeping the black dollar in the black community? Let me explain. If I want to eat, I have to give my money to the Albanians at Coney Island. If you want to get gas, you need to go to the Chaldeans. If you want to have your hair look like mine, you got to go to Asians. And I thank God for Asians. My wife is right there. She's Asian. Our children are Blasian. So I give it up to my Asian brothers and sisters. But we don't keep the black dollar in the black community. You're an entrepreneur. What does it look like for black entrepreneurs to be able to get the resources they need so we don't look for a handout, but a hand up?
And you know, and we talk about this, you have a lot of dollars in the black community and they don't keep it. I think one of the biggest problems that I see is the crime. They have to stop the crime. If they stop the crime, you're going to see more and more stores sprout. And we're losing them in other communities too, where there's crime. You see empty stores, you see them all over. They see big stores they moved in 10 years ago. They spent millions of dollars to build it and now they're leaving. And these are not necessarily black communities. In many cases, they're not at all. But with his crime, there's empty stores and you don't keep the money. So I think the biggest thing we can do is stop the crime. We're going to stop the crime. We have to let people feel free and be able to walk outside and not even think about being mugged or hit or shot or anything. And, you know, one of the examples, I see the love in this church. It's incredible what you've done. You've done an incredible job. I would like to ask if you could final out with a prayer. Is that okay? I don't want to get you by surprise here because this was not, but I've heard so much about you and so many great things. And it's such an honor to be here. It's such an incredible honor. And with so many of my friends that are political leaders that are really going places, and he is on the list, by the way, and I don't know if he's going to make it, but he's on a list of a few people, right? Not too many people. Would you like to be VP? Huh? I think he would. Tell you one thing, he'd be a good one too. But I'd love to ask you to finish off with a prayer. Does that make sense?
I would love to pray.
Thank you very much.
You know what? I'm not even mad this brother asked that question because it was a good question, but posed to a complete idiot. And he should have known that he was asking a question from a nitwit. Now, the legitimate question he's asking is basically, how can we get Black Wall Street back? Because black people have done it before in history. I don't know if this brother knew that, but we have hundreds of times in history. They just all been destroyed by racist, hateful white people. I got a question for you, Pastor. How do you convince the devil to stop being the devil and become a saint? And expect the devil to give you the plan how to defeat him? Then you got your answer when you ask a person like Donald Trump to stop being Trump and help somebody. Who has Trump ever helped? Himself. All his friends go to jail. He throws them under the bus. He doesn't pay a lot of his employees. They've been saying it for freaking decades upon decades. Even before he was born, his dad was doing this. So he learned from his father to be this way. It's amazing to me that no matter how many of these facts show up, people who consider themselves leaders are so lazy that they don't do the homework to figure out the truth. You're leading people into the darkness and calling it light. You're shaking hands with the devil and calling him Jesus. It's just insane. The question you asked was a good one. But it's answered already in history. Black Wall Street did it. Many others did it. O.W. Gurley is the one who helped start Black Wall Street. Just research it, if you will. He made his money and he came back and created his own black community with 40 acres. He did it alongside other black folk and they became one of the most wealthiest black communities in history. So if it's already a plan out there how to do it, how are you asking the people who destroyed it to begin with, killed hundreds of people, not all of them recorded? So it could have been way more than what they reported. Displaced them all and just now turned them down for any kind of reparation. So even this theory they had about The people of that particular era aren't even still alive anymore. So reparations even owed to you. They're owed to them. It wasn't even owed to them. They just had it turned down. So how do you get a racist sector in our country to give a damn about the people they're racist against? The idea that you didn't know that before allowing this photo op says a lot about your leadership, bruh. For you to walk up to the enemy in a suit, tennis shoes, and Brandon's in a shirt that said, "Make America Great Again," and his fake-ass Sambonian smile told me where your mindset was. You were simping for Satan, not Jesus, not God. Donald Trump is nothing like Christ, and you let him decimate your church for clout. It appeared that you had a legitimate reason to bring him there. At least that's what you said, you know, because you guys have a methadone clinic in your church and your area is filled with poverty. Yeah, I looked it up. This is it right here. We're doing the 360 on Google. And it is downtrodden. It is poor. And I'm sure there's crime. But to let that question fly like that and end it because he told you to end it, I would have asked him another question. Sir, the crime rate is what it is right now. But at the same time, the people I just mentioned aren't in another part of the state. They're just in our community getting investments, and we don't own any of them. So at the current moment, with the crime rate as it is, Asian people, whatever culture he says owns the gas station, other cultures owning different aspects of businesses, they're in his community, which means even though the crime is where it's at, you're giving investments to these other cultures and not black. So what does the crime rate have to do with investing in black people in their own communities when the crime is what it is and you're investing in all these other races and cultures in our community? That's the question. But you let it fly and said your prayer. Yeah. My brothers and sisters, we are where we are today and continue to be where we are today is because we don't love each other unless we're going through some kind of drama. If I got a court case and I seem like a good guy, we behind each other. If somebody, like a cop, attacks me or harms me, we behind one another. But if a brother or sister needs to get investments, go to the white man. We're not behind one another. I'm starting a platform to literally allow us to invest in one another. Whatever business you have, to be able to put your business on the platform, similar to these crowdfunding organizations, if we don't help one another grow, nobody's coming to help us. We're all alone on this. And I want to ask you a question truly. Do you even want them to invest in you? Honestly, think about it. They own you if they invest in you. It's their money. Therefore, they get to determine how your business runs. Do you want to forever be an employee or do you want to run it? Be the boss. We can't play the game like they play the game. Selling business after business, becoming huge conglomerates and all this other crap and just flipping businesses. If the black community wants to rise throughout the United States, we got to stop flipping businesses and create ginormous brands. We are the leaders in every freaking industry in buying. It's about time we become the leaders because we're the hottest thing on this freaking planet. Everybody wants to be like us. There are literally women out there buying butts so they can have what we have naturally. Buying lips because of what we have naturally. Putting collagen in their body because of something we have naturally. Going to get burned up in a tanning bed because of something we have naturally. If you don't see that they want to be us without being us, then you lost in some kind of crazy sauce. So if we can own the industries that these people have to come to be like us, then we could become wealthy like the people we're always asking to help us. And if we keep that in individual communities, and even if you're a wealthy black person and live in a nice, like, mixed community, you can still go to a black community that's mostly black and start putting your industries in that area. Putting your factories of your big businesses in that area. Creating living wage jobs in that area. Buying up that area. Reselling it back once they start making good income to that area. And therefore, this stigma of us being crime-riddled just by nature starts to go away. But we have to care about one another first. How many of y'all care about your brothers and sisters when they're not going through something? How many of y'all want to compete with us doing something brilliant instead of being a part of it? You notice I say how many because I know it's not all. But I'm speaking to you, the ones who are like this. It's when you change your mindset. Instead of buying Gucci, go find a luxury brand that true black people own and blow that up. trust and believe. Beautiful black women and handsome black men wearing that gear, it's going to have every white person wishing to be tanned and beautiful like you buying that product. We need to have a consensus about how we're going to move strategically. Plans that we actually want instead of scatterbrained. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. No, if we came together on a platform of saying, this is what we want for all our downtrodden black communities. This is what we want for all our middle class black communities. And we whittled it down to like 2 or 3 things that can get us a jump start. Then we could be on the same plane of saying the middle class black people saying, oh, I'm fighting for this for my poorer black communities. Poorer black communities, oh, I'm fighting for this for my middle class communities. Both of those communities doing the same thing for the rich communities. Oh yeah, we want tax breaks for these black owned businesses or these black people, what they particularly want in their richer black communities. If we cared about each sector of our communities, which harbor many different races, but the reality is for black folk, we gave a damn about one another outside of our struggle, we could actually build a better place for all of us and stop having to ask rich white people, racist white people to give us a hand up. Everything we need is already in our community. The thing we lack is unity. I speak facts, straight facts, and out of respect for all types of black people, I'm not going to curse. I'm just going to say FYF. Now put this out to everybody. Share it. The only way we're going to make this a better place is if we all come together and help one another. Not competing because we're individually brilliant, but finding some kind of unity on issues that we agree on and move toward a more perfect union. And in that situation, we can finally make America great for us. Let's get it.